This is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And today our question comes to us from Anani Mouse. And Anani Mouse has this to say: they have always understood that when things happen repeatedly to a person, they are happening so that that person can learn some sort of lesson. And they've always understood and accepted this teaching. Recently, however, a number of people in their life have become ill, and many of them have died. And this just seems to keep happening. And in fact, most of them have died from the same illness. And Anani Mouse says that they are no longer really able to accept this idea because they cannot believe that these other people are dying so that they can learn a lesson. And my answer to this begins by saying I completely agree. These people absolutely are not dying so that you can learn a lesson. They are dying to learn their own lessons, to fulfill their own soul purposes, for any of a number of reasons, but it has nothing to do with you. This is their life and their lessons that they are experiencing. However, through synchronicity, it may be that by observing them as they go through their lessons, there may also be a lesson for you, but that doesn't mean that you're causing it to happen to them. It means that Spirit has placed you where you can see their experiences. Perhaps even your higher selves have agreed upon this before this lifetime, to act as a signpost to each other. I absolutely do believe that experiences come to us in this way to bring us lessons, but the things that are happening to the other people are not happening because of our lessons. They're happening for their own reasons. We just happen to be there to observe and learn. And sometimes learn through interaction or any number of mechanisms, but we are not the cause of the situation. We are merely on the periphery of it. Their own reasons, their own lessons, their own soul purposes are the only reasons that these things would be happening to them. I think that in life, this is one of the major factors that we experience, that other people are having all kinds of experiences, good and bad, for their own reasons, from which we can learn and grow by observation and by interaction. But that doesn't mean that we are the cause of those experiences simply because we may learn from them. The experiences have their own causes. So this would be my answer to the question. It's a very complicated question, but I think this is the simplest way to put the answer. Again, the fact that we may have a lesson to learn from someone else's experience is an aspect of synchronicity, not causality. The cause of the experiences belongs to the person who is having them. I believe this is always the case. And therefore, I absolutely do agree that you could not be the cause of these other people being ill or dying, simply because you might have a lesson to learn from it. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you might not have a lesson to learn from it. But it would be, in addition to their purposes and their need for these experiences in their mortal lives, one of the things we forget sometimes in the moment is that if we believe the soul is eternal, then everything that happens in these lifetimes is temporary and small by comparison to the long life of the soul. No matter how traumatic it may be in the moment now, for the soul, it is as the blink of an eye. The lessons may be very important. The memory will last throughout the soul's existence. But the pain does not necessarily continue in that way. This too shall pass, as they say, and the good shall be retained from it. Sometimes we have to do extensive healing to move on from these things, but I believe the soul absolutely does in the course of time. One of the things that I've been asked to comment upon on the vlog on occasion is the idea of divine justice. And people often think that the idea that the universe always acts to the good, or that there is such a thing as divine justice, is connected to our mortal ideas of justice, which obviously it must not be, because that is not reflected in the world. Rather, if there is such a thing as divine justice, and I incline to believe there is, it's from a very different perspective than our own, and from a perspective of immortality. And that's true with these lessons that we go through in these lives as well. So for the long life of the soul, each of these short lives in the physical is a component of the being, but not nearly as all-consuming for the soul as it is for us in the moment. So these would be my thoughts on the matter. I hope you find them helpful, and until next time, may you blessed be.